It's day 3, WSOP at Harrahs, and we're on our way to day 2. And we got the Suck Me shirt on. Poker Org or Poker News, whatever's doing the reporting over there, noticed me, asked me if I was the real Suck Me 69, and told me I was legendary. Let's go. We're gonna be on the news today, and hopefully my shirt makes it. Amy's also wearing the old school OG Suck Me t-shirt.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
And if you scan that barcode, it brought you to this. And guess what?
If you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you!
The payouts are posted. I don't recall how many people were left. I don't really care what the min cash is because we want first place and we want the ring. Unfortunately, a lot of these hand histories are going to be pictures, so I'll try to make it as entertaining as possible. We come back to blinds at 10 and 20,000. We're under the gun with the parking lot hand. We raise to 50,000. Only the button calls and we go heads up to the flop. The flop comes out 10, 10, 10. I check, he checks back, and the turn is an ace. I check, and he checks again. The river comes out a 5. I bet 75,000, he snap calls. We have the same hand. How uneventful. Fast forward a level, the blinds are now at 15 and 30,000, and I got queen 10 offsuit in the big blind. It folds to the small blind, he limps, and he's got about 225 behind. I put them all in, he folds, we pick up the dead money. We start this hand with 485,000 in chips. With the blind still at 15 and 30,000, we got pocket 10s in the big blind. The cutoff opens to 65,000, and I 3-bet to 190K. He flat calls. I kind of hate this, but let's see what the flop brings. Hopefully we can hit a 10. Hopefully he isn't trapping us with a bigger pair. The flop comes out 6, 7, deuce. Well, I close my eyes and I put my chips in the middle. We didn't get snap called, so that's a pretty good sign that we got the best hand. Now we're hoping he's got 8s or 9s and will pay us off. But what if he has jacks? If he has jacks, will he fold the jacks? Oh my God. Now I don't know. He can't have jacks. He would have called with jacks. What are you thinking about, man? What do you have? He folds. Thank God. Very next hand, we get ace queen of diamonds in the small blind. Folds to me. I raise it up to 80K. The big blind calls me. The flop comes out 7 high. We lead out for 95K and he folds. Now we're up to 930,000 going on break with 33 players left. With blinds at 20 and 40,000, we raise, fold, queen 10 offsuit to a re-raise. Then we get 4s. We open, another player rips in on us. We gotta fold. Then we get king 5 offsuit in the small blind. We need some chips. We raise it up to 100K and the big blind shoves on us. Now we're down to 480,000 real quick. Third act, 22 bigs. Re-raise this. Queen jack offsuit, probably not the best move in the world, but fortunately, everybody folds and we pick up 100,000 in dead money. Now we're jacking off in the big blind. The button opens to 105,000 and we just rip it in his face. He asks for a count. You ain't calling this, man. That's a button raise. And this is a lot of chips. After contemplating for about 30 seconds, somehow this guy calls and we might be in trouble. He shows 6s. 6s. I love jacking off. I love jacking off.
No problem, buddy.
Jeff was there for the sweat, helped me out, and now we're at 1.1 million. And we're a force to be reckoned with. Middle position opens to 90,000, and we look down at the ace jack off suit. We're on the button, so we bump it up to 315,000. The blinds fold, the pre-flop raiser folds. We're up to 1.3 million tournament units.
With blinds at
25 and 50,000. We got ace queen offsuit in the big blind. Before we get into this hand, let me explain something to you. When you're playing these World Series of Poker events, you know, you can see all the people at your table, so you can look up all their stats. Well, sometimes that fucks you, because I look up the guy's stats who raised pre-flop, and he's not a good player. So, by his raise sizing, I'm thinking he's probably got a strong hand, so I'm not going to 3-bet here. There's the first mistake, not 3-betting. I call, and the flop comes out, king 6-7. I check, and he checks back. The turn comes a 5. I check again, he bets 100K. Now to me, that's either really strong or really weak. So thinking about it and thinking about how he's a weaker player, I go ahead and raise to 360,000. And then he shoves on me. Shortly after that hand, we're down to a 27-person table redraw. We get seated next to the guy, and I ask him what he had, and he tells me pocket 5s. Completely played that hand wrong, because if I raise pre-flop, he might fold. If I bet the flop, he will fold. Now blinds are 30 and 60,000. We got 645,000 and ace-jack offsuit on the button. Middle position raises to 155,000. I just rip it in, and he snap calls.
Oh, that's not good. That's like that.
Fade. Barry Greenstein. After that hand and picking up the blinds with queen 10 offsuit, we're at 1.5 million in chips. Then we get the king queen of hearts in the small blind. The button opens to 120, so we re-raise to 340. And he shoves on us. We fold, and he shows aces. With blinds at 30 and 60,000, we open the ace 6 of spades to 135. David Moses, also known as the Grinch, shoves all in on us. Obviously, we fold. Then we win a small pot with the ace 4 high, and we're up to 985,000. And we're down to 18 players. Time for a redraw, and it's time we're starting to make some money. 10-minute breaks. It's fucking nuts. 17 players left. We got 930,000. Coming back to 4080. So since we only got a 10-minute break, we get back to the table and we immediately are jacking off. We open to 200,000 and get called by the big blind only. The flop comes out Jack 7 deuce. Huh? The big blind checks it over to me, and I make a wager of 145,000, trying to get him to raise me or float me super light. Regardless, if he calls, I'm ripping on the turn. Well, the turn comes out a queen. He checks, and now, for some reason, I second guess myself and say, I'm just going to check call him. The river comes an ace. He checks again. I check back, and he shows ace 9 offsuit. What the fuck did you call the flop for if you weren't going to try to make a move? Now I'm fucking tilted, and I'm short. We're down to 585,000. We're under the gun with this, and we see the poker news lady with the camera pointed towards us. So what do? We rip it all in, and we pose for a picture, hoping that it gets through. It folds all the way to the big blind, who is a competent player. Howard Mash, he asked for a count. He's counting his chips. He's thinking about it. I'm hoping he doesn't call me with a mediocre hand, and then he calls and flips over his hand, and oh boy, not good. He shows King Jack of Diamonds, one of the last things we want to see, and this flop is the next last thing we want to see. We're basically drawing dead to a black king. It does not come, and we're out in 16th place. Man, that sucks. So we ended up doing exactly what we said we weren't going to do in the last video. And that's why I had the Pinocchio nose on. Make any mistakes late. We made a huge mistake by not just ripping our pair of jacks on the turn when the queen hit. He most likely doesn't have a queen in his hand. We should have just ripped it, picked up the chips, and we would have never been out in 16th place. Very upsetting. Just got to play better, man. We got more tournaments to fire, so we're going to do it. I'm just not sure which one I'm going to try harder to do. Get a ring or become a vlogger.